Welcome into another edition of Marsh Media News Update. I am your anchor, Mr. Sadwa Fair, the DL Marshall. Thank you guys so much for always joining us each and every Monday. That is 10:30 a.m., 10:35 Central Standard Time, where we give you the news that they make public and we make popular. And we've got some news for you on the start. First of all, man, we've got some news that is, to me, horrendous. To me, it's pretty much, let's get this kind of straight where, yeah, I'm not liking this. How y'all doing? let's get it going. I guess that'll work for today. Checked out a little better in the pre-show than right now. But hey, we've got some news that is devastating in the Kansas City area, man. I'm not understanding what is going on in the world today. I'm not understanding why it is that people seem to want to be more gangster than what is needed. I don't understand why people cannot seem to communicate, talk things out, work things out. But yeah, it is definitely I was going to say a monstrosity, the way our young folk are handling conflict without the resolution. What are you talking about, DL? Well, what DL is talking about is that there are a lot of people that find themselves in situations where that is bothering me, where they find themselves in a circumstance and situation to where they rather shoot someone than talk to someone. Here's the first thing. Let's go here. Here is a listing of, and we're going to see if we can make that bigger. Here is a listing of schools in the Kansas City area. Central High School is supposed to on at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow, September 17th. And you see the AR-15, I believe that is, on the bed, insinuating that it's going to get shot up. A list of schools getting shot up. Yeah, and y'all can read the rest of that. Guadalupe, FSU, Northeast, Kip KC Elementary. Come on, man. Come on, man. And then it goes over to even get deeper and elaborate. Lincoln, Kip, Guadalupe, Hogan, University Academy. What is going on in the world today to whereas we find ourselves having to guard, good morning, Star, having to guard our schools like we have to guard the borders. That's what I would like to hear some of our presidential candidates speak about. What is going on to protect us domestically? I know there's a lot that we're talking about other places, other cities, other lands, and all that, but man, it's definitely a doozy to deal with. So prayers going out to all those schools that are listed. Prayers going out to even the one that may have compiled that list. Man, what we don't need is more dead bodies, and definitely dead bodies of our children in different schools. Also want to send condolences and say rest in peace to none other than Toriana Jackson. You know him as Tito Jackson. Tito Jackson passed away. We got the news this morning. Sad part about it is here at Marsh Media Backstage Entertainment, we have a show called The Arena Show that we were working with Tito Jackson and his people, his camp. We were working with them to try to set up an interview. Those of you that caught the interview with us and the PC band, you would know that Tito has a new song with the PC band, and we interviewed the PC band. But we were going to turn around and also interview Dr. Tito Jackson. Man, I sure hate to hear that. No exact cause of death has been reported, although it has been mentioned by Tito's long-term friend and manager that it's possible that he had a heart attack on his way from New Mexico to Oklahoma. So Tito was still on the road. He was still working. He was still having engagements and events, concerts. He just had a successful run with his brothers, Jermaine, Jackie, and Marlon, as they were resurrecting the Jacksons, as well as Randy. They was resurrecting the Jacksons on their Vegas residency run. And now, unfortunately, Tito Jackson is dead at the age, I believe it was 73, I believe so. So, man, condolences to the family of Tito Jackson. Good morning, Brony Cat. Yeah, the death shocked me as well. So, man, if y'all don't mind, as always, let us know where you're watching Marsh Media News Update from. Go ahead and do like a Bronya, interact with us. Do like Star, interact with us. Thank you for listening to us on our channel here, channel I-70MMBE on YouTube, as well as our Facebook Marsh Media Backstage Entertainment page. Also, share, like. For as many people that is in here, we would love to see that many likes. Also, man, it is hard press, man. When I say hard press, it's hard out here for fathers that don't marry the mamas. It's also hard out here for guys that do marry the mamas, especially when the mamas don't want to be married no more. What are you talking about, DL? Tyrese. You know, I don't even know if we have to say Gibson anymore. He's got to that portion where definitely you understand that when you hear the name Tyrese, you know we're talking about Tyrese Gibson, the singer who recently released a new CD. And he released a new single off that CD called Wildfire, which was originally done by New Birth and remade very well by K.C. Haley. Probably my favorite rendition of that, but he does a very good job as that as well. Wound up finding himself arrested over child support, arrested in Atlanta, and ordered to pay. Now, y'all listen to this. Ordered to pay upward of $73,000 a month in child support. Somebody better keep close watch and guard over the mama. You hitting my pockets for $73,000 a month for child support? For a child that ain't even 10? What does a child 10 or under? What does a child 10 and up? What does a child, period, need with $73,000 a month? If any mama, if any daddy that's getting child support, which is a unicorn, but if any mama that is receiving $73,000 a month in child support can't make $73,000 stretch a month and beyond, we talking 30 days. You can't stretch $73,000 in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. If you can't stretch $73,000 at least 60 days, you don't need to be the custodian parent. You need to be investigating on what it is you do. You can't stretch $73,000 a month in child support. You got a drug problem. Let's go to the comments. I thought you were going to say it's hard. No. Yeah, that's college tuition. Mothers, and I want the mothers that are watching this. I want the women that are single, that are trying to rear a child. I'm not trying to slate, belittle, make minuscule of the task at hand that you have raising a child solo dolo. But the last I checked, it's called child support, to help you support a child. So if I am lending help to the support that you are giving that child already, that means you already have an income coming in. So $73,000, you done sent the law after me. I'm paying, let's say I'm paying $35,000 a month, which is too much. But let's just say I'm making $35,000 a month. You find out that I'm back on my feet. I got a couple of new movies out. I got a couple of projects. You looking at what the union done cast my wages to be, what my income is. Now all of a sudden you won't take me back and take me up 40,000 for child support? Baby, you and the baby get in the car. We finna go out by the river and have lunch. $73,000 a month on top of what you putting in. There's no way any able-bodied employed adult should need 73 thou a month to support a child. Clothing, don't take that. Clothing plus food, don't take that. Clothing plus food plus transportation, don't take that. Now, what it sounds like is I'm supporting you and the child. I don't care if the baby, the child, the toddler, the adolescent gets sick. Ain't no cold medicine along with the clothes, the food, and the car costing $73,000 a month. Your mortgage probably ain't $73,000 a month. And if it is, and you talking about I'm help paying for the baby to have a place to live, bring the baby to me, because obviously you having a hard time with your finances to cover rent or mortgage. So bring the baby back to me. Put it in the comments, y'all. I gotta know, is DL tripping by thinking Tyrese? First of all, the law ought to be shaming themselves. The court judicial system ought to be shaming themselves. In our community, we have some young men that are going in people's driveways. I didn't say in a parking garage. I didn't say in front of, they going in people's driveways, breaking in their cars. We had a community meeting with some of the police, and the police said that they know exactly who these young folk are, but because they are juvenile, there's nothing they could do unless the parents come in to aid. Now, you can't force some juveniles to stop breaking in cars, which eventually those same juveniles wind up killing someone that tried to intervene with them breaking in the car. But you can arrest hardworking fathers that were paying child support at the initial juncture. Now you want to amend it, mothers, to make this man pay $73,000 a month. Y'all got to talk to me, ladies. Come on. Y'all got to talk to me in these doggone comments. Ain't no way in heaven or hell. My uncle used to say, the hell you preach. You look real good trying to put me in jail for. What if, let's just say, what if Tyrese said, okay, fine. You gonna take me to jail? Because I can't afford it. Take me to jail. And Tyrese is now in jail and he's no longer making money at all. Now he's doing time served. He ain't making no money at all. Ladies, how then does the mother take care of the child? She ain't getting child support because daddy paying that off in prison or jail or whichever one they take you to when you don't pay your child support. So then, mothers, what do said mothers do if daddy is locked up and they can't get no money out of him? What does? At that point, what happens? I'm just trying to understand, how do you justify having the, man, I said gall and people having audacity, they giving that away nowadays. Audacity is free and they giving it away like government cheese. For you to have the audacity, the mitigated gall, the gumption to go to court and ask for $73,000 a month in child support, I still have to ask this question. What are you doing? What are you doing? And then turn around and get it granted. And you get me locked up. Women, I don't get it. when y'all get to locking these dudes up, talking about I'll take your freedom, what is your backup plan? What is your plan now to get somebody to help you with that baby? Because can I say this? That old term, mother's baby's father's maybe. I don't think, I mean, of course you could say because a woman don't know, she messing around, she don't know. Okay, that's on the extreme end. But what I always took it as, even as a kid, was that for sure when a woman has a baby, she gonna have to mother that child. Fathers, unfortunately, have a choice if they want to participate. And with fathers like that, yeah, you got to go in the courts. You got to make sure that you're getting help. Keyword, help. But $73,000 a month for child support? Tyrese, you might have to go get you a real good insurance policy. Ain't that many, well, the baby ain't in Pampers no more, but let's just say, ain't that many Pampers being used? Ain't that much formula being made? Ain't that many trips? Do you know how many times you go to Disney World alone with $73,000 a month? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. I tell you, I bet you she driving the best of cars. And I think when mothers go and get that much money from a father, and they start driving the best of cars, and they start, I think your income receipts alone should show that you can cover that, because it's child support, not mama of the child support. Well, we're going to take a break, get into some sports. Y'all keep it in the comments. Is $73,000 a month just too much doggone money to be paying in child support? Is that the golden child? Man, if I spend $73,000 a month on any one of my children, y'all best to go to every school in the land. Y'all better be able to be a millionaire, and I want my, take care of me. Take care of me. And then, because this man don't want to, he went to jail rather than pay the $73,000 a month, you had the nerve to call this man a deadbeat. Now, come on, y'all. That ain't, am I wrong here? That is not deadbeat quality. I know some folks dodging $220 a month. This man was paying, I believe, upwards of $30,000 a month, and that wasn't enough. So you went and had child support up to $73,000 a month. Oh, my God. We've got some more news on the way, but right now we're going to stop for the doctor of sports. Give it up for our sports doctor back here on Marsh Media News Update, Mr. Marvin Durant. Marvin, what's going on, man?
Well, good morning to you, Mr. DL. First of all, Ross, Walmart, TJ Maxx doesn't cost $73,000 a month. Okay?
Baby Gap
I'm just
don't
being
cost $73,000.
I know. Someone's taking care of their own pockets and probably their new man's pocket. But we don't want to get to that point.
That's why I was talking about the insurance policy. I was born by the river.
Hey, I hear you. Hey, the NFL season, week number 2 concludes tonight when the Eagles take on the Falcons. But yesterday, it was a strange day in the league. Let's take a look at what happened in our backyard in Kansas City. The Chiefs barely beat Cincinnati 26-25. Wasn't the best of days for QB1. One Patrick Mahomes, 2 interceptions on the day, but he did throw 2 interceptions. However, the Chiefs did not come out of the game unscathed, as running back Isaiah Pacheco was hurt late in the game. He has a fibula injury. He's undergoing a MRI today, and already it has been determined that Pacheco will be going on the IR, the injured reserve list, which means he'll be out for at least 4 games. The Chiefs are already down Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the non-football roster list. He's out for the first 4 games of the year. He'll be eligible for week 5. So, which means Brett Beach and the brain trust there in the Chiefs office will have to figure out what they're going to do at running back. Samari P. Ryan will be elevated to running back 1, fullback, and a rookie Carson Steele will be running back 2. Certainly, they have some guys on the practice squad who could step up temporarily. If I were the Chiefs, I would reach out to their old friend and a guy who's been a part of their Super Bowl teams and see if he's still in shape, Jarek McKinnon. See what's going on with him and see whether or not he has a few legs left for at least a few games during the year. But nevertheless, the Chiefs are 2-0 going into their game next Sunday night against Atlanta. A lot of things they need to shore up. Offensive line, especially with left tackle. I'm very worried about that position. Travis Kelsey, as we talked about on our post game show yesterday, Travis is not in shape. Officer Travis is not in shape. Spent way too much eating rich foods overseas during the off season. I don't think he is in shape, and he's at his best at this point. But that's what the season is about, and I think they can hang in there until they can round him into shape. So that's what's going on with the Chiefs. Down in Big D, they got an old fashioned butt whipping by the New Orleans Saints yesterday. The Saints scored 35 points in the first half, en route to a 44-19 victory over the Cowboys. I know, Dak, you got your money, and it wasn't all Dak's fault. Defense, defense, or let me say lack thereof. The Saints ran through the Cowboy defense. They ran through the right side of the Cowboys line. Alvin Kamara, 4 touchdowns. He was unstoppable. Derek Carr, who is not one of my favorites, average quarterback at best, mid tier quarterback in the league at best, had a good game, and the Cowboys looked lost. This is the team that Jerry Jones said I was going, quote, all in on. And hey, CD Lamb, he did get his money. Dak got his money at the last moment, but they certainly did not earn it on Sunday afternoon.
I was
Also,
surprised,
go ahead.
Marvin, that they did not acquire Derrick Henry when they had the opportunity to do so instead of going back and getting Zeke.
That's true. Derek would have been an excellent addition. Actually, well, right now Derek signed with Baltimore, and they're not using him.
Right.
They're not
Right.
using him in the second half. And great segue. Thank you very much. Baltimore lost to the Raiders yesterday. And anytime you lose to the Raiders, you have to say, what in the heck is wrong with us? Derrick Henry, in the last few moments of the first 2 games of the year, Derrick Henry has, in the last 10 minutes of the game, in the last 2 games, has ran the ball 3 times for 12 yards. Let me repeat that in case you folks that didn't have your hearing aid up. 3 times for 12 yards in the last 10 minutes of the game combined in the last 2 games. This is a guy who was supposed to be there at the end of the games, run the clock out. If you're behind, you put the team on his back and let him motor, let him cook. What have the Ravens done? They've gone right back to the passing game to try to prove that Lamar Jackson, yes, he's indeed the MVP. John Harbaugh, it's not working.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
working.
John has lost these 2 games for his Baltimore Ravens. It's all solely on John Harbaugh. He has not coached well at all this year so far.
No, not at all. So this is all on him. So if The Ravens are to get back to the top of the heap to some particular point. Yeah, he needs to change his stripes. Also, obviously, coming out of Miami, a couple stories coming out of Miami over the past couple of weeks. Tua, of course, suffered yet another concussion in their Thursday night game against Buffalo. He's undergoing testing. I don't know what his status is for the upcoming game this Sunday, but it's more about just one game. This is about a lifestyle. This is about whether or not this man is going to be able to play with his kids, to be able to relate to his family. That hit that he suffered at the hands of Damar Hamlin, and what about irony there? Damar Hamlin, Tua getting a concussion after what Damar Hamlin went through. That was not a hard hit.
at all.
That was
It was a
that was a
routine
normal. It was a
routine tackle.
routine play. It was a routine tackle, and he gets a concussion.
You know what, Marvin?
Something's going on. Something's
I,
going on. I mean, he's got some softer than soft tissue going up there.
I,
And
I
I'm
was
no
about to
doctor.
say, I was about to say, some people just aren't built for certain things. And uh, the last two concussions that Tua got, it was not really like a tremendous woo type of hit. It's just like he turned his head wrong a certain way. And I mean, he's having the type of concussions that we can diagnose from the couch. I mean, he is seizing up. It is very, very hard to watch, man. Very.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. So this is more about life than football. I applaud his head coach, Mike McDaniel. He told Tua when he was walking off the field, he said, "You are the quarterback of your family."
Yeah.
One of the greatest quotes ever.
Yeah.
I would implore those around Tua, his management, his family, you guys need to circle the wagons and need to have a big time intervention with this young man. I know he's a football player. He has a football player mentality. He wants to go out there. He can prove that he can do it. But what good is it in 10 years? You can't recognize your kids.
Definitely. Definitely. And you know, being an athlete at one point in time in my life myself, it is so hard to tell a person that has become their identity. That is
Hmm.
them. That is what they're known for. That is what their life's work is. And for you to say it's over with, it's done, um, give it up, man, that's almost like why so many people have amputations from diabetes, because you're told what you have to give up, but you've been doing it so long that it's hard to give it up. So, man, I just hope that
That is true.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, and not only football, just life in general. I had to deal with it with my parents. I had to tell my mother, "You cannot drive no more." And
yeah.
the death stare that she gave me, okay, but
Boy,
it
who
was
you
like,
talking to?
yeah, exactly. I said, "Mom, you can't drive no more. That's it. You can't drive." And she pouted for a long
Yeah,
time. I mean, I
yeah,
can, I mean, I can see you tell the great Reverend Wayne Marshall tell him he can't drive no more.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You saw that boot. You saw that boot that was on Pacheco's foot, right?
Yep. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know where that would end up, right? Definitely. Staying with the Dolphins. Of course, we didn't get into it last week because you were traveling. Tyreek Hill. The situation with him, everyone knows about it. He was stopped prior to the Dolphins' first game of the year against Jacksonville. He was cited for speeding, reckless driving, basically. He was driving, I think, 60 miles an hour in the 40-mile-an-hour zone, which is wrong. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Okay. He gets stopped. They asked him to roll his window down. He rolled it down and then rolled it back up. Then they came knocking on his window, and he's stopped knocking on my window. Stop knocking on my window. Stop knocking on my window. And which the officer said, as politely as he could at that time, well, I wouldn't have to knock on your window if you didn't have, if you had rolled your window down. Okay. And in situations like this, it don't take much. I don't care where you are in the United States. It doesn't take much to piss a, a officer off, especially in this day and time. And basically, the officer said, "Bleep it, for all intents and purposes, get out the car." Now, first of all, in my mind, first of all, you see this guy, you stop. He has a very expensive, high power sports car. It's 3 hours before a game. So, in your mind, at least you should know, okay, this is one of the Dolphins players.
They knew.
They didn't roll up in a minivan. Okay. And I know how some cops can be like, oh, we got a football player.
Yep.
Let me see, can I get a couple more notches on my belt?
Yep.
Okay.
They knew.
And so they opened the door. As I watched the video, Tyree was making the effort to step out the car. Well, they dragged him out the car. And DL, what happened to the days when if you have to physically accost somebody, bring them out the car? What happened to like laying them on the hood of the car, on the side of the car? Remember those days?
A
I mean,
little
that was
too,
bad.
a little too vividly.
Yeah, and that's bad enough. But I'd rather be laid up against my car than looking at concrete on the floor, on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they pull him on the ground. They finally got him. I mean, he resisted a little bit because he was upset. He should relax a little bit more. But life is life. You don't think in situations like that. Okay. Okay. So they got him handcuffed and everything. Fast forward to a little later in the video, they asked him to sit down on the ground, on the pavement, on the curb. And he kept saying, hey, I just had knee surgery on my knee. Now, of course, when I hear that, I'm like, wait a minute, you're getting ready to go play an NFL game. But
But he did have surgery. He did have
he
surgery
did have surgery.
out the
He did
country.
have surgery. He
Mm-hmm.
did have surgery. I was okay. Nevertheless, one guy decided to go WWE on him and choke him and wrestle him to the ground. To my knowledge, and I had an uncle who was a police officer for a little while. As far as I know, that is not in the police manual and how to apprehend a potential subject.
Yeah.
Okay. And then subsequently, he got laid down on the floor on the ground again. One of the officers has been placed on administrative leave. He's asking for his reinstatement. He got lowered up and everything. Everybody say he needs to go back. The police association says that they followed everything to the T, which is, look, I'm sorry, they didn't follow it to the T, to the I, to the Z. Okay. There was nothing routine. There was nothing manual about that. Now, again, I can understand them being a little ticked off at Tyreek because he didn't cooperate like he should have. He could have cooperated better. He did. He came out later and said so after saying that I don't know why they did this. Tyreek, you know why they did this. Don't come up here and lie to us. You are culpable for part of this, but not all of it. When when the rubber meets the road, the officers did not have to be as aggressive as they were. They caught the guy who was speeding. Only thing they had to do is give him a ticket. They saw he was a football player. We figured we're gonna make a name for ourselves and prove something to whoever.
It
And
goes back,
probably
Marvin. It
go ahead.
goes back to every race of men having to exert dominance over our race of men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody sees the black man as some sort of threat, some kind of way, whether it be our physical physique, whether it be our intellect, whether it be our
Mm-hmm.
beautiful melanin skin. I was talking to a police officer, tried like the Dickens to get her on the show. She
Mm-hmm.
would not come. She said, I can't afford to have my views expressed this way and let people see. And that's one of the reasons, as I expressed to her, that's one of the reasons why the bad apples, as a lot of police say, there's a few bad. Where are all the good apples? Well, the good apples
Mm-hmm.
have to silence themselves so that they don't lose their job, so that they don't
Yes.
lose their pension, so that they don't become a target behind the blue wall.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask this question. Tyreek Hill, professional superstar wide receiver of the NFL, correct?
Correct.
But he was not on the football field, right?
At that time, no, he was private citizen Tyreek Hill.
So when he was approached by a civil civic servant,
Mm-hmm.
who is the professional now in that moment? Tyreek
In
or the
that,
officer?
the officer would be the
Because
professional in the building.
that's the officer's playing field.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I respected that the officer said is that they are taught to de-escalate the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say any of those officers de-escalated or accelerated the issue?
Oh, they accelerated. There was no de-escalation at all.
So
They
first of
went
all,
they
that's
went front
that's the
full
first
throttle.
that's the
Mm-hmm.
first level of taking the blame off of Tyreek Hill. Now we're taught that you have to be a certain way to get home. And that what we're taught as black men, I don't believe white men had to be taught that. I don't
No.
believe Hispanic men had to be taught that. I don't believe Asian, indigenous men had to be taught that. But black
Yes.
men, we are taught to make it home. You put it 10 and 2,
Mm-hmm.
and you say, yes, sir, no, sir, thank you, sir, and you drive off.
Right.
Well, when you get a certain financial scope or pay range, you kind
Mm-hmm.
of forget those rudiment lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Even so much so that you are in a horsepower car as such. I believe that was a Lamborghini that
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek was in without a seatbelt. The pains of self-inflicted wounds could have been detrimentally if Tyreek had a crash.
Yep.
But you come and you knock on the window. And it sounds like one of my mentorees arguing with another mentoree. Stop knocking on my window like that. We'll roll your window down. Stop knocking on my window like that. We'll roll the window down. Stop knocking on my window like that. We'll roll your window down. That was very
Mm-hmm.
juvenile on the part of the citizen and the said professional at that moment. Sir, roll your window down. I need your window down so that I can see in. Could you crack it
Mm-hmm.
a little bit enough where I can see your eyes, nose, and mouth? And hand me your identification. He
And
handed you his identification. Now, Tyreek later said that I don't know if it was through Drew Rosenthal or Tyreek himself, said that he wanted to roll the window up so that he wouldn't cause attention
yes,
to
that's what
pass the
Tyreek
by.
said. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, if that be your reason, you still handled it wrong, Tyreek. But the professional in this situation is police officer. You now have his identification. You don't have to worry about him shooting you. You don't have to worry about him pulling off because he's right in front of his job. Get in the car, give him his ticket, send him off. But no, you accelerated the situation. You made it more than what it had to be, that now your gang members were ready to go. So much
Mm-hmm.
so that you almost broke the man's hydraulics on his door because you, idiot, didn't realize that Lamborghini doors open upward, not outward.
Right.
Then you snatch him by his neck, not even giving him a chance to tell you at that point, man, I just had knee surgery.
Right.
You know, but you snatch him out because guess what? Your professionalism was down the drain. Now
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna show him who's the toughest. Of
Yep.
course, when a man is armed with a taser, a pistol, mace, club, handcuffs, you are the dominant. And I was always told that the powerful man in the room don't have to scream he's powerful.
True.
I need you out the car, Tyrese. Come on, man. We want to see you play today. We
And,
want to root
like
for you.
exactly.
We want to root
Thank
for you
you,
today.
was.
I
Right.
don't want to take you. I don't want to take you to jail. Now he's out in the car, out of the car. Now you grab him by the back of his neck. Let me ask you a question. If a woman is talking slick to a man who is obviously bigger than her,
Mm-hmm.
and she's in his face and he's like, going about your business. Oh, what? Oh, what? What you gonna do if I don't?
Mm-hmm.
And that man haul off and hit her in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to say that if she had to shut up, she wouldn't have got hit? Or are we going to say, man, that dude was out of line, out of control. He needs to go to jail.
Yep. That the latter.
So in this situation, the police officers were out of line and they need to go to jail for assault because you grabbed this man up around his neck. You twisted his arm when he was compliant on the ground. And as one hand was cuffed, you need him in the middle of his back. Anywhere you could grab him, that where you could have put in jeopardy or detriment his livelihood, you placed there. So we're gonna blame the person that got out of control when you were supposed. You serve. You made an oath to serve and protect, even if you're saving and protecting them from themselves. That's all I had to say.
That's true. So there's still the story is not over yet, and so there's more to be said about this. But again, a very another sad tale for America, not just Black America, but for America to see. So hopefully this can be resolved properly.
Yeah.
We can only hope. Let's turn our attention to the WNBA. We're coming up on the last week of the regular season, DL. And another milestone for my girl, Asia Wilson. She became the first player in WNBA history to amass over 1,000 points in a single season. So, congratulations to her. It looks like her Aces will end the regular season in fourth place in the standings, which means they will take on the fifth place Seattle Storm, and the Aces will have home court advantage. As we enter this last week, would you believe it that there is a three-team race for the eighth and final spot in the playoffs? The Washington Mystics, the Chicago Sky, and the Atlanta Dream. All of them have horrendous records. They're all 13 and 25 on the year,
Wow.
but they are battling for the eighth and final playoff spot. It will probably be decided tomorrow night when Atlanta takes on Chicago. And of course, Chicago without Angel Reese, as she shut it down because of a wrist injury. We talked about, speaking of toxic, the toxic nature of the Chicago Sky. And if for whatever reason they don't make the playoffs this year, there's a lot that needs to go on in Chicago. Even so that Dwayne Wade, who is a part owner of the club, may have to get involved.
Well,
This man has championship DNA. He knows how teams are supposed to run. I mean, he played under Pat Riley in the front office. Okay.
Well, he gonna have to be pulled away from his fingernail polish company first.
Okay. Despite that, he
How
needs
you doing?
to.
Sky Nails. Sky Nails.
Boy, you have no sense. But then again, you with the Southwest, so it's to be expected. But so the WNBA playoffs begin next weekend, and finally on my list of things to talk about sports-wise, the Kansas City Royals, they have assured themselves of a record over 500 for the first time since 2016.
15.
They're 15, excuse me. And they're on pace to win, hopefully, depending on how they do in the last 12 games. Hopefully, they can get to that 90 win threshold, which is, hey, nothing but gravy considering the horrendous year they had last year.
Hey, if they can get to 85, I can go over to my dad's house and be like,
Yeah, scoreboard, Dad. I got
yeah,
scoreboard on you. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I got you. So that's what's going on in the world of sports. And before I go, I don't know whether you talked about it earlier or before I signed on. Man, I woke up this morning and I saw something online. I said, no, this ain't true. This ain't true. This can't be true. But man, when I saw the notice about the passing of Tito Jackson,
yeah. I talked about it. Wow,
that that hit me like what? And
wow.
yeah, it just wow, it
Hey,
hit me.
and you
And
missed it, Marvin. We were in works very close. We had 3 dates that we were picking on, and he was coming on to Marsh Media Entertainment's Backstage Entertainment's show, The Arena Show.
mm,
We
mm,
had it secured. We just needed a date.
wow, wow. I mean, and this week we lost three giants. He, along with Frankie Beverly and James Earl Jones. I tell you what, I am just slightly 17 days from my 65th, and every morning I wake up, I gotta get up and then fall down on my knees.
Amen. Amen. And
You,
I do
you,
that
you
every
got
morning myself because there's no day promise. And I don't know if you saw where they had the kill school list posted. I'm sorry, the unalive school listing where they had targeted schools and dates that they were going to go to certain dates, certain schools and shoot up. Man, we have a lot that we have to do to accomplish unity in our community.
yes,
And
yes,
these are not video games, man. People aren't getting up after being shot. These are not movies. People are not wiping off makeup splashed blood when they have those issues. I'm looking at Abronia said, in all honesty, Chicago Sky hasn't been the same since Candace Parker left. And then she said, you will be surprised how the police officers treat each other here in Chicago. And I believe it. I believe it. Hey, Mark, thank you for the news and sports. But I don't want you to go anywhere because this is sort of sports related. In
okay.
our Marsh Media News midweek, update, midweek update. I had comedian Bam Brown, comedian Sweaty Hands on, and we were talking about Unc's My Michelle situation. And
He just
now,
wanted to prove. He just wanted to prove to all you guys that he still got it, man. That's all.
and I don't know if he did because I thought we was about to lose Unc. I ain't gonna lie. I thought Unc was about to get up out of here with all that grunting and growling. I thought we was about to lose him. But
Yeah.
now the internet is not giving him any type of slack, any type of relief because he posted a post on, I believe, his IG and possibly his Twitter or X. And he put up a shirt, my Michelle t-shirts. And now people's like, yeah, we knew this was set up. We knew this was a prank. We knew that you did this on purpose so that you could capitalize and monetize. I said on the show with Bam and Sweaty that if he just let it play and let it fall, he would be fine. But if at any point, because Sweaty was like, he need to bring Michelle on the couch. I said, no, because then that would play into everybody saying he's doing it for cachet. He's doing it for clout. He's doing it for money.
Yep.
Now with the shirts, it was fine when him and Ocho was joking about it. And I was saying then, I hope they don't do it right now. Well, he put it up. People drug him so hard that he dropped it down. Do you think that Shannon Sharpe is okay with pulling down the My Michelle t-shirt post, or shouldn't he be able to profit off of his embarrassment?
No, I think it's about reputation. And to this point, he has had a great reputation for the most part. I mean, his first take show is going well. They offered him a new contract. The nightcap is doing well. Club Shay Shay's doing well. Why muck it up with some nonsense?
Right.
Why
Yeah.
muck it up with some nonsense? And this is absolute nonsense. And literally, luckily, nothing was shown. We just heard audio. But this was perilously close to the Paul Pierce situation that happened last year, a couple of years ago, where he was on Instagram or Facebook with a couple ladies and smoking a couple of blunts. Well, that tanked his ESPN career.
Well, the
And
drug
trust me,
use,
and trust me, ESPN, they'll drop you like a bad habit these days.
drug use for one, you didn't
Mhm.
have that in Shannon's. The
Right, right.
actual visual aesthetics, you didn't have that with Shannon. Um, and Paul Pierce is not the talent of Shannon Sharpe. He
Uh,
doesn't have the draw of Shannon Sharpe. He
that's an
doesn't
understatement.
he doesn't add the benefit to ESPN that Shannon Sharpe did, and he didn't have Stephen A. Jackson in his corner
Yeah, Stephen
vying
A.
for him.
Smith. Yeah, yeah,
Stephen A.
yeah,
Smith. He
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
have Stephen A.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right on that. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't have that cachet. He's horrible on speed on FS1.
Yeah, and you understand that in all jobs, everybody's not treated fairly because everybody doesn't have the same level of contribution. You don't have the same level of draw. Like there are some people that are replaceable, and if anybody should understand that, it should be Paul Pierce. You play sports, and you understand when you're not dropping buckets, when you're not getting rebounds, and on top of that, you're causing issue, you causing shame, you causing embarrassment, you're going to get up out of here. Bron
Right.
says ESPN is owned by Disney. Disney believes in giving you once chance to get your act together. You will get second and third with them. And you know what? The hypocrisy with Disney is, and thank you, Abronia, for that. The hypocrisy with Disney is you slide all kind of sexual innuendos in your cartoons that's targeted for children. Go back and watch Aladdin. Go back and watch Mulan. Go back and watch The Jungle Book. Go back and watch Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They slide all kind of sexual innuendos in their shows. Go back and look at some of the Mickey Mouse cartoons. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and also I'll take it one step further. There's one particular program on ESPN, NFL Live, which is on in the afternoons, I think 3 o'clock Central Time, hosted
Mm,
by Laura Rutledge. Very
mm,
beautiful young lady, does a great job in hosting the show. She
uh,
does some stuff for the SEC network as well. But as you can tell, how they're panning the camera around the studio, she suggestively has her legs crossed in certain position where you think you're at KFC. See a whole bunch of leg and thigh.
and you know what? Let's just stop acting like we don't know sex sales. That's why when you
Of
go
course it
on
does.
social media, you never see a woman take a picture straight forward like this anymore. It's always a side pic. It's always a over the shoulder looking back pic. Sex sales. That's the reason why. Remember at one time, all that mattered was talent, and a lot of the women had faces for radio, and then all of a sudden you start looking at weather girls being shown from shoes to hairline. You
Mm-hmm.
start looking at moderators becoming female on male driven shows. Why? Because men like hearing sports and looking at models.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm gonna get you to, like Joy Taylor. Joy Taylor is very knowledgeable. She is
Extremely.
knowledgeable in sports, but boy, ain't she pretty to look at.
Oh yeah, very easy on the eyes.
Talking about the best of both worlds, brain and beauty.
Mm-hmm.
But she's definitely spoken about how hard it is in a chauvinistic field such as sports. And she really, thank goodness, her brother Jason Taylor is a former NFL player. Few times he had to come to her defense. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
we understand that sex sells. That's why I come on here looking sexy every day.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed you kind of got looking nice, looking professional.
I'm trying, Marvin. I'm trying. And if you guys want to advertise on any Marsh Media backstage entertainment content, whether it's the afterthought that you can catch us this Sunday night after the Chiefs play the Falcons basketball.
Yeah,
After
yeah,
the
yeah.
Chiefs play the Dirty Birds, it's a Sunday night game. I was thinking, Marvin, we may kick in around halftime or even do it live. Coach T. Lee, the Afterthought resident Super Bowl champion, said we might even be able to come out to his club and do the show live there. But I was thinking maybe we could pick the game up at halftime, talk about the first half, and then go in and talk about as the game is playing. We can discuss that a little bit. But if you
Sounds
want
good.
to advertise on the Afterthought Chiefs post game show, the news show which you're watching now, Marsh Media News Update, Backstage Pass, the Arena Show, Dang DL, whatever it is, hey, DL, cut it out. Hey, Brony, I'm trying to get advertisements and I'm trying to get donors and sponsors.
He wants money for new clothes.
I need money for new equipment, Marvin, so that we can get different camera angles and things like that when we get ready. And I'm trying to get this one location where we can come in and shoot all the content we want, so that we can get on the record videoed and going.
Okay, fair enough. Sounds good, man. Hey, you the CEO, so you know what
I need a booster. I need a booster.
Need a booster. Need a
Or a
booster.
cougar. I need a booster or a cougar, one or the other.
I hope the missus is nowhere around. Like she didn't hear that last one.
Very close. But if you need some liniment rubbed on your joints or some Jell-O fed to you for a small donation, I'm your guy.
Boy, let me get out of here before I get in trouble just being in your presence.
Thank you for your sports point on that, man. Thank you so much, Marvin Durant, ladies and gentlemen, the doctor of sports. You can catch him right here each and every Monday, 10:30 a.m. with the sports on Marsh Media News Update. You can catch him hosting his podcast On the Record that is on iHeart and Spotify. You can also catch him on the Afterthought podcast with yours truly, Coach T. Feezy, Bam Brown, and the Bishop, Billy Bird Sr. All right.
Yes.
Salute, Marvin.
All right. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. That's going to do another edition of the news that you make public and we make popular. Thank you so much for joining us. And please join us each and every Monday morning, 10:30, 5 a.m. Central Standard Time. Till the next time, man, we want you guys to be safe. We want you guys to be blessed. And we want you guys to keep making that news so we have something to talk about. And don't forget to catch me, the Dr. Sports Marvin Durant, the Bishop Billy Bird, and T. Feezy, along with Bam Brown, hopefully. Afterthought Podcast, Chiefs Post-Game Show, best Chiefs podcast coverage anywhere. Marsh Media News, Marsh Media Backstage Entertainment. Go on and support. Like, share, subscribe. Till the next time, be blessed.